Welcome to this somewhat spontaneous design guide PR review sessions. We don't do these very often, but they are pretty helpful. John's came up with this format when he worked on some pages, and here we go again. So the idea here is that we take a pull request that is in review stage, meaning it's pretty advanced, and we just read through it together top to bottom and just discuss and make changes as we see fit. Maybe we read through it in 2 minutes and everything's amazing. That would be crazy, but maybe that happens. Maybe we take a whole hour and find 500 changes. We'll see how the adventure unfolds. So in this case, we look at the new multi-wallet management page. And I should probably not say anything about it, and we should just read through it, because the more I say, the more I will frame or twist, manipulate the follow-up reading and conversation. But I'll just say it's a new reference design in the Bitcoin design guide, next to the daily spending wallet, savings wallet, upgradable wallet, shared wallet, and multiple wallets. You'll be able to access it via the landing page. You'll be able to access it here. So should we just start reading and take turns every paragraph or section or so, and or how would you suggest that we go about this?
Should we read it out loud? Like each person reads out loud and then each person reads out a section?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reading out loud is actually part of it, because as you know, it's like you prepare for a presentation, when you write the text and then you actually start doing the presentation. It's different once you actually read it.
100%.
Practicing is
just like in school, reading in
Yes.
school.
Exactly.
I'm just going to close my window because there's so much of sun here. So I'm just going to.
And of course, I guess the framing is now we somehow landed on this page, right? And you see the title, you see the image, and you just kind of respond to that. So I guess the question is, what do you gather from this image and title?
It's a lot of old wallets.
Yeah.
Yep. Old school.
Originally, I didn't look too closely, and just from glancing, I thought they were books.
Yeah.
Stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
That's the initial reaction.
I think there's a challenge though in AI in generating an image, because the AI is but it's a fairly okay job of trying to generate wallets from the AI perspective, because this is challenging, I know, with AI. Yeah. But it's
Yeah, it doesn't say Bitcoin. It doesn't say anything detailed. It's just a bunch of wallets, and it hints at the thing. Okay, who wants to read first?
I'm happy to give it a go. Shall I start the first paragraph all the way until the first set of images start? So
yeah, I mean, you can also take break in between or wherever you feel like you want. Or let's say you stumble across something where I'm like, I don't get this sentence. You can just pause and we can talk about it. So as you see fit.
The reading session begins. Bitcoin applications may want to offer their users the ability to actively manage multiple wallets. To guide this reference design, we will look at a scenario of a user who has a partner and a child, with all family funds being held in Bitcoin. Okay, to guide this reference design, we will look at a scenario of a user who has a partner and a child, with all family funds being held in Bitcoin. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have any euros or dollars or anything else.
So Bitcoin only. So the funds are split up across multiple wallets based on different use cases, security needs, and ownership dynamics. Okay. This sentence in itself, I'm understanding that it's for the use cases, but I think because of the words here, they're quite sort of what's the word I'm looking for? These are quite sort of, not technical words, but they're almost like tricky words. So my brain takes a while to understand that on the first read. The funds are split across multiple wallets based on different use cases. The use cases could be, I don't know, something like that. I don't know. I'm just sort of thinking out loud, security. Yeah, the funds are split across multiple wallets based on different use cases, security needs, and ownership dynamics. It's split across use cases, security needs, and ownership dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, technically, the security needs and ownership dynamics are related to the use case. It's like I'm managing this with my partner. That's why I have certain use case and not security needs and whatnot. So that could be there could be some slight rephrasing there. Again,
Yeah.
I'm just taking notes on this here separately. I'm just going to copy this text, put it in my own notes, and track it there.
However, all wallets are managed in the same application. Cool, makes sense. Okay, I think I'll stop sort of, I don't know when is a good moment to stop because I've read, okay. Let's assume the user has the following wallet set up. A Lightning wallet used for personal day-to-day purchases, shared wallet co-managed together with a trusted partner. Amounts are on the low side and convenience is preferred over high security based on a one of two multi-key setup. Shared wallet co-managed together with a trusted partner. Amounts are on the low side and convenience is preferred over high security. So this wallet is for convenience with the partner based on a one of two shared wallets. Okay, one of two multi-key setup. Okay, amounts are on the low side. A child account which exists on the application layer only. The actual wallet used is the daily spending wallet, so there's no extra keys to manage. So it's only the application layer. The actual wallet uses the daily spending wallet, so there's no. Okay. It feels almost like similarly how you highlighted in orange, in 1 and 2, you highlighted in orange shared wallet and Lightning wallet. It almost feels like daily spending wallet should be highlighted here to fit along the same trend as 1 and 2.
So the the way I think about these, so I think there are multiple references. Like sometimes when you reference a page multiple times, another page is in the same page multiple times, I only link the first time of that occurrence.
All
That's
right.
how I usually go about that.
Okay, so this is obviously being referenced somewhere else here. Okay. A savings wallet using a 2 of 3 assisted custody model. A savings wallet using a 2 of 3 custody model holds funds the user manages for the family. This is a family holds the funds, so this is for the family. Okay. A view only inheritance wallet user has a separate PIN for revealing the balance and the wallet details. All keys are managed externally. It feels as if there's the key sort of setup mentioned in number 2. There's a key setup mentioned in number 3. There's no key setup mentioned in number 4. And number 5 mentions a key setup. There's number 6 also. There's an archive single key wallet, which the user migrated away from. See the upgradable wallet reference design some time ago in favor of the savings wallet. It feels like there's a mention of a key in almost all of these points, but it feels like my brain wants that key part to come across a bit more separated. It feels like there's use case mentioned in the sentences and then something about the key.
Yep.
And it's like, this is the use case, this is the key. So you could almost be like use case first mentioned and then key mentioned and have that as a consistency amongst all 6 points. User has a PIN for revealing the balance. Yeah, okay, that's just my 2 cents. Okay. Other scenarios for separate wallets could include additional layers like eCash or features like separate stablecoin balances. Other scenarios for separate wallets could include additional layers like eCash or features like separate stablecoin balances. Maybe linking out to what a stablecoin balance is, if I don't know what a stablecoin is.
Yeah, we don't have good content. Well, we don't have good content in the guide, but yeah, we could. We have issues to create that content, and
Yeah.
there's some work in progress done by Steven some time back, and I'd love to get that done early next year. But right now, we don't have any great guidance around that. But yeah, I think we should have a reference design at some point for stable coins
Yeah.
and a how to. Yep.
And then I'll
Yeah.
stop. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and add an external link. We can find something there.
Unless you're intentionally designing a general purpose application, try to design with specific use cases in mind that you can derive decisions from. This is a very well said sentence. I like this one. Yeah, very nice. Whichever types of wallets you decide to include in your product, try to guide users towards ones that best fit their use case. So this is, I read those two sentences together. Unless you're intentionally designing a general purpose application, try to design with specific use cases in mind that you can derive decisions from. Whichever type of wallets you decide to include in your product, try to guide users towards ones that best fit their use case. There's something about these two sentences that just, I'm not quite sure what it is, but they both mention the word use case.
The one in the previous paragraph and that paragraph?
Yeah, there's two, but both mention use cases. One is mentioning use case, one is saying design with the use case in mind, and then the other one is saying guide the user towards the one that fits their use case. Okay, so one is talking from the designer's perspective, design with the use case of the user in mind, make decisions from the use case. And the second one is saying guide the user towards the wallet that fits their use case. Okay.
So if you have a daily
So the
spending
what-
wallet and it's just one use case, it's easy, right? But if you have like 3, 4 to 5 different types of wallets with different configurations, you need to be intentional about which ones you support in the first place, and then also help people pick the one that's the best fit.
Now I get it. I get it. Now I get it. Mhm.
The paragraph, the second to last paragraph is basically about what should the scope of the application be.
Mm.
Has nothing to do with kind of UI design or use kind of. It influences the UX on the basis of the scope of the product. And the second and the last paragraph is about, based on that scope, help people decide based on their situation.
You phrase
And
it.
that has a UI impact.
Yeah, you phrased it correctly, Michael. Yeah. Below is an incomplete example for structuring a series of questions that result in a recommended wallet configuration. Users still have the option to adjust. Okay. Below is an incomplete example for structuring a series of questions.
Yeah, incomplete does not need a dash.
Incomplete, yeah, and maybe even below is an incomplete example, so the example is not complete. Below, we provide an example of how you can structure a series of questions to recommend a wallet configuration. No. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the thing why I put incomplete there is because this is really a tree structure that can get pretty complex.
Yeah.
It's more.
Yeah.
But if it says example, you don't need incomplete, right?
You don't need it's like incomplete examples, almost like the same. Like, yeah. And that's it. I'll stop reading. I don't know if that was useful, but I'm done.
Yeah. We could also look at the images that were part of this text that you looked at. So and then the first image, it's meant to illustrate the wallets that are listed out. So every wallet that you saw that we went over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually just 5 because Archive Vault's hidden, they're visually represented in that image. in a UI. Was that a connection that?
Ooh, I was looking at the wrong image. Okay. Oh, right. Oh, I didn't even, my eyes went straight to the text and I didn't look at that image there straight away. So that image in the top right is actually showing example 1, the Lightning Wallet, example 2, the shared wallet, example 3, the child. Mm. Would it be possible to change the placement of the image so that it forces you to connect them? I mean, I do see the connection now that you mention it. It's very clear.
It could be a bit further down, yeah.
If it could be side by side, but I don't think there's no space with the text.
Yeah, you could, the first paragraph, you could move the image down so the top of the edge starts with, let's assume the user has the following wallet set up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm taking notes.
What I found myself doing while Mo was reading, I was kind of comparing the image to the text, and what I find myself doing is kind of trying to identify which is which, because for instance for point 3, the child account, I basically assume it's Alice in the image. So maybe just kind of mention the child account for the child called for Alice, and it makes it a bit easier to connect these, and it also maybe humanizes a little bit kind of these use cases and the texts
Yeah.
to kind of to for the reader to mentally keep track of the different wallets, because there are a lot of use cases, right, of these wallets, and it's a lot of work that you've put in here, and it's a lot of kind of mentally keeping track of which wallet is which here in this paragraph. But yeah, I think the illustration or the image helps definitely. I mean,
I would even go one step further, and this is being very this is saying that the reader of this is very naive and they want the information presented to them, their brain, as fast as possible. I would even try to, I would even maybe consider calling the first, so in the image saying actually Lightning Wallet, because that's highlighted in sort of orange here. So then when I look to the image, I mean, I know it's a Lightning Wallet because I can see the icon, but let's say my brain is lazy, and then I say, okay, that's the Lightning Wallet. And then the second one, we call it Family Wallet, which I know is mentioned here in the text, but it says Shared Wallet as number 2. I would almost call that Shared Wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that says number 3, which is Child Account, I would say Child Account. And then number 4 says Savings Wallet. That one actually matches the content. And then the 5th one is also matching the content as well. So actually 4 and 5, points number 4 and 5, text actually matches the image itself. Because it's inheritance, and number 4 also says savings.
Yeah.
And then 1, 2, 3, and 4, they kind of don't match. So you have to think a little bit. It's not like it's rocket science, but I don't know, just a thought along, like I said.
Yeah, if it can be made more clear, it can be more clear. There's probably also the idea of just adding, red numbered dots in the image itself that look like they're not part of the UI, but they're separate to create that connection. Or just putting it in the text as well. Okay, cool. It's a good one. Yeah, there's it's quite dense, this first paragraph.
There's
dense. The use case stuff. I had it longer. I actually rewrote that one like 5-6 times to find the right density, but there's still just a lot in there. You really have to pay attention to it. And the case stuff as well.
Yeah. But I think, it still does a good job to kind of argue that there actually are different valid use cases for having multiple wallets in an application.
Yeah.
Right? Or I mean, I agree it's dense, but it highlights that it's a real, can be a real thing, a real need to have multiple wallets.
Yeah, I agree with Michael because this is real. Like, you can't get any more real than all these different scenarios that
Yeah.
are presented in examples 1 to 6. It's just very real and very practical. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a website of a Web3 wallet recently that was very beautifully designed, but one of the use cases in there was someone was purchasing an NFT costing $17,000, and it came from their retirement account. It was literally written like from retirement account this much to purchase like an image of some anime character, and I thought, whoa, what's going on here? It's like the financially least responsible person in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to be responsible, I guess, and somewhat realistic at least.
Yeah, I think the image complements the text very well because the image is just pure simplicity, while the text is sort of your brain has to crunch it a bit.
Mhm.
So having something very simple in the image it's a very good combination. So yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And that's it. I guess I'll stop here and I'll leave this one to Michael or to you.
Yeah.
I've been talking too much now.
Yeah, there's also this sequence here that's meant to illustrate this simple flow of guiding users towards a wallet. And this is a tricky one. Like where do you start and how do you structure
Yeah.
this? And I think that also really depends on what wallets you support. In this case, it was like, well, how much do you plan to store? Which then gives you hints you at how tight your security, how complex your security should be. And then the second question was about, well, the third image here really was, are you the sole owner or are there multiple owners? And out of those, you can kind of derive, you can tell people like, here's a setup that will work for them pretty well. And there's way more to it, and I don't think it can ever be fully captured in 2 questions. But ideally, it's something where that leads people in the right direction, and then they tweak it. Some people will not tweak it. Some people might. But yeah, at least they have a direction there. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael, do you wanna
I think he just looked somewhere and then his camera. Someone
oh
probably
no.
just
Yeah,
came
Yeah,
out.
I have to.
I like the guidance which you've used here because the guidance is very simple. It's like, if you look at the different wallet options, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, like that's quite a lot for a person to make a decision about if they're not guided. So this is just really human. It's like, okay, do you want to create a new or existing? Okay, how much do you plan to store? Small, medium, large. So you're kind of hinting this is going to be daily, and you're saying those medium is for monthly, large, long-term savings, and who's going to manage the funds. Yeah, and then who we recommend this wallet setup.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a million factors there that you could think of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is keeping it as
So-
simple as possible. Yeah.
And it's different than saying, well, how many keys do you want? I'm like, I love keys. I want 1,000 keys. Right? That's not helpful. This ideally, gives a direction there. Sorry, Michael, you're about to say something.
Yeah, I had to switch rooms. I'm in the office here, so I had to switch. But on this topic, I mean, it's meant as an illustration of how you could approach guiding people, right, towards this kind of the scenario that they're looking at, and I think it really helps also because you want to give different recommendations, for instance, for backup and security after you know what the actual intent of the user is. So to capture user intent, I think something like this is very helpful. And the actual questions and implementation of each of these kind of guiding or how do you call that, intro Q&A will be up to the specific products, right? I played around with because I saw this year I tried a different one for the custom spending PR that I'm working on. So yeah, it will be different for each product. But I think to kind of nudge people to think about more human ways to kind of get to this to the ideal setup, I think it's
Yeah.
definitely helpful.
It's very humanized, and this is fits someone who is not, like this is fits someone who's new and doesn't know anything and wants to be guided. I think a lot
Yeah,
more that's needed. Yeah.
it is also an implicit or subtle way to frame to frame the thinking of users, right? Because depending on which questions you ask here in which sequence, they think about, okay, I have to think about this and this and this. So it kind of it's like a primer
Mhm.
on certain topics that you actually want users to think about without telling them you need to think about it. So I think
Exactly.
this is very, very helpful.
There was a thought that came to mind on the last image. So the fourth image over here, where it says we recommend the following wallet setup. Now, I kind of have two thoughts in this in very different directions. Because here, you're suggesting the number of owners, Jane Richardson, then auto signer, approvals, replied, and create wallet. I'm wondering if, and there's sort of two very different trains of thought in this. Is it an idea to mention on the screen something like, based on your selections, the following wallet setups would be suggested for you, and then you go back to what you said here in points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You go back to at the top of the screen saying this is going to be, I don't know, number 2, a shared wallet. So you implicitly state shared wallet at the top of the screen, and then underneath that, owners. But at the same time, I have a different train of thought, because I'm like, well, maybe you don't want to state that, because that might be information overload, because maybe they don't know what a shared wallet is. So yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
kind of,
that might be a bit much there. Okay, the other thing is too, when in those middle screens, if let's say I press small amounts, if I press just me or me and others, when I select that, we could
yeah,
also then have a follow-up screen that says like, cool, it's just going to be you, so we're going to recommend this and this, and then okay, cool, next question.
yeah, exactly. It's almost like, I know there's some other applications I've downloaded where they show you visually, based on your selections,
Hmm.
2 or 3 options, which would be the most correct options based on what you've chosen. But then again, then you're not taking them down a direct path. You're giving them more options. So you're not, I don't know.
Yeah, it gets overloaded pretty quickly.
It gets overloaded very quickly. So that was my point with the question, with the screen number 4 is, if you add in over here just saying, okay, based on your recommendations, we suggest a shared wallet.
Mhm.
And you implicitly state that, is that information overload on that page, or is it like, well, now they know the direction they're going in?
Yeah.
Let you know that.
But I mean, it also says owners plural, and then you see multiple people. So you should,
Yeah, which is
and
a shared.
there have to be steps in between, right? Because
Yeah.
because I still have to add Jane Richardson, and I have to sign into it. So between images 3 and 4, there are multiple steps that are not shown.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Yeah.
we're still on the first paragraph of, of this page. Quite intense. This will be a
Let's
3-hour session.
let's go to the next one. Michael, Christoph, let's go.
All right. Okay, degrees of separation. A big part of constructing a multi-wallet application are considerations around separating or combining elements across wallets. Again, this should be strongly informed by your target audience and their use cases. makes sense. Except which elements should be separated or combined. But let's read on. The daily spending wallet is optimized for Lightning payments by a single user. This focus leads us to decisions like a unified balance and automated swaps of incoming on-chain funds to the Lightning network. Right, because you have to somehow get the money into that wallet if you run out of it, or run out of funds on that wallet. In this reference design, we optimize for users who want to or need to explicitly split up funds and manage them separately. This leads us to different combinations of keys per wallet, separate balances and activity lists per wallet, wallet-specific settings, conveniently allows switching between wallets. However, we guide users towards using a single primary private key to construct several wallets. This simplifies the backup process to reduce the risk of loss of wallet. This is acceptable from a security perspective because the wallets with larger amounts are either view-only, which means keys are external, or additionally protected by requiring multiple signatures from the partner, hardware wallet, or assisted custody provider, respectively.
Okay. Do you want to reflect on that or keep reading?
Yeah, here there's a first mention about assisted custody provider. I think it was mentioned at the top as well in one of the use cases. So what that is might be
Yeah.
something. I mean, it can be any third party, right? But it's yeah, that's something that I read in this sentence for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, it does say assisted custody, but you kind of have to be familiar with how the savings wallet works.
Yeah.
For that one.
Yeah. But it might be a fair point because managing multiple wallets, I mean, if you read, if you want to get as a reader into these kinds of topics, then yeah, I think it's you have to prepare yourself for some type of complexity anyway.
Yeah, if you really want to understand the under the hood stuff, if you just want to design like a wallet switcher, you can just look at the image and copy that, right?
Yeah,
Just depends how deep
exactly.
you want to go.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the image. I think it's an image or visual like this is it's really necessary to kind of visualize or understand what the text is about, especially the last paragraph, right? Because you want to the last paragraph talks about the primary private key. So seeing it then reinforced visually is quite helpful. I'm thinking about whether it might be helpful to have the image first and the explaining the text after. But yeah. But then if you would switch that and have it after this bullet list, then there might need to be kind of an intro sentence or a headline that says, okay, now we're talking about private key separation or kind of private key setup in that regard.
Yeah, there's an interplay, right? The text can be more precise in some ways. It can tell more of a story. This image you just kind of visually explore and try to make sense of it, but the visual nature of it just can communicate more clearly in other ways.
Mhm.
So like they're
There's
just
a
different media.
there's a clear connection that comes up for me, at least. Like in this paragraph, it says, in this reference design, we optimize for users who want to or need to explicitly split up funds. So here, this is actually the use case. So it feels to me like this paragraph with the bullet points is the use case, and this use case is being created by this image. So this image is the use case of that paragraph, actually, if I understand correctly.
Well, the image is the outcome,
Uh-huh.
right? I need all of these different wallets, but at the same time, and the keys need to be somehow organized in this whole thing, and then a good balance between convenience, like making my payments, and convenience of backup where it's secure, has appropriate security. And then out of those things, well, how do we split up the keys? Like how do we organize these keys? So that's kind of it's derived from this initial idea of needing different wallets. These are the types of wallets we need. Now we end up with this key structure, I
So
guess.
this is the key solution of that use case described above. It
Yeah,
feels
that
is that
specific user's wallet setup.
right. So
Of
it
the
feels
combination of all these 6 wallets, right? So that's kind of the
it feels almost like this paragraph which says in this reference design, it feels like you could even call that the use case. And it feels like you could even call this the key solution for the above described use case.
I mean, I wouldn't call it use case. It's just a practical need that this person has. The use case is, managing all the funds from my wallet, for
Mm,
my family and my personal needs in these different ways. And then because of that, obviously, I need to want them manage them separately. And
yeah,
that's why I need these different wallets. So I have a bunch of different wallets. And how do we organize them the best? That's how we end up with this
yeah.
key management system.
Use
It's like
case.
4 layers down from the user needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite dense, this thing, that's for sure.
yeah. But I mean, it's what I like about the as well the visual is that it's clear, or to me at least, it's clear that there are 4 keys in total for all of for the entirety of my financial life. There are basically four private keys, and it easily lets me see which is used where. And so you could basically, as somebody who reads this or wants to build a product, you could just basically take this and just make changes to this to think through your own product, or kind of maybe even try to provide templates for users, that where you could kind of visualize how what you recommend to them. So I like this.
I think the visual does a good job of explaining something that's very I mean, I didn't get that straight away that there were 4 keys. I was like, which 4 keys is Michael talking about? Oh, okay, green, blue, orange, and purple. Okay, there they are. So then I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different entry point. I don't know how you read. Right now we're reading like top to bottom, read the text. I barely
Mhm.
read like that. I will scan headlines, I will look at the images, then I'll read through the text. And it's more of this speed reading thing where you kind of sit back and forth and to
Mm,
then eventually comprehend the whole thing, but not in a linear fashion.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's necessary in this paragraph. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I mean, I understood the image probably way faster than the text. and that's what led me to think about whether it might be a good way to switch them up, because then I would see something and then read about why it is the way it is, instead of the other way around.
It's almost like a subheader.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the image has its own header there. Kind of works as a
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it tells you what it is. So, and you, I can connect the rows to the use cases that I read above and the image that I saw above. So maybe name them the same here in this image.
Yeah.
Still, I probably wouldn't know what the application layer account really means.
Yeah, that one's not explained anywhere really. That's one thing that's not on this page.
It's when I read through the use case number 3 at the top, then the actual wallet is used. Used is the daily spending wallet, so there are no extra keys to manage. But it doesn't tell me how it actually interacts with the keys.
Yeah.
Right. So is it, and on which of these other 5 wallets is it kind of based?
Yeah, it says that in the up here it says that it's on the uses the daily spending wallet. I guess the first one. Yeah. Something I was that one I think there needs to be a paragraph at the bottom that explains this. That it's basically in your app you just say, these amount of sats are I create a child account, and it just like it's not an on-chain wallet. It's just like you reserve certain amount, but it's not reflected on chain or in Lightning Network anywhere else. And then when your kid wants to spend something, they'll send you a request like, "Hey dad, hey mom, I want to buy candy here for 1,000 sats or whatever," and then you just say approve, and then your wallet actually makes that transaction, right?
Oh,
so that's
okay.
So it's purely UI layer kind of account handling, and that child would not have any wallet keys or anything to manage. It's just like they can send you requests, so you kind of make payments on their behalf. That kind of deal.
Christoph, no, go ahead.
No, I have nothing else to say.
The simplicity with which this image is designed, it's more actually the copy that's used. So you use here spending, archived, shared, savings, child, and inheritance. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you move up to the very first image you have of that first image we spoke about, would it be possible to use those exact same headings again?
Yeah, I mean, it's less realistic. You're not gonna, in your wallet, you're gonna name your account after your child's name. You're not gonna call it, "Hey, child," unless maybe your child doesn't have a name. Then you have to say child. But see, here's something that I was wondering. Something fun would be if, I hear these icons next to each wallet. It's like Bitcoin, Lightning. It's honestly not that helpful because 2 of them are identical and 3 of them are almost identical. But maybe those could be the personalized ones, where a child account actually has like a little girl or something in there, and the shared one has 2 people or so. And then those icons could also be used here on the left.
Exactly.
And they could be used here in this image, so you get the visual reference to help out with the textual.
Exactly. That would just tie those in perfectly. That's exactly it.
And that goes to something that we haven't gotten to, which is this idea of visualizing, customizing your wallets, which is just treated as a separate thing. By the way, we have 8 minutes left. We went through 2 paragraphs here.
Yeah, but I think I mean I read through the entire thing again before, and I think these 2 paragraphs is probably the kind of the densest, or kind of the most unique ones.
Yeah, they're very dense in terms of information, and there's nothing wrong with that. They need to be that dense. But I think Christoph still did a very good job of. I mean, there's so many. Like for me, there's like so many different things coming into play. You know, there's use cases, and then there's the keys, and it's kind of fairly understandable in the way that it's written.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, in a way, this is the fifth reference design. It kind of builds on everything, all the other ones
Yeah.
above it. So you are jumping into the deep end. Maybe there could be a disclaimer at the top or so that says, here's some good preparatory reading before you
Mhm.
get to this.
That might be a good idea, Christoph, because this, I mean, actually, you do already link to all the preparatory reading material in points 1, 2, and 4 and
Mhm.
5. But you could be more explicit. I mean, if you want. I mean, they could also just click on this. So, but yeah, indeed, if you don't understand what a Lightning shared savings upgradable wallet is, yeah, you're going to be very lost.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about any Bitcoin reading. It always takes 3-4 times to until you're and some thinking and coming back to it until you
Yeah.
really, really kind of get it. And some decisions things are just not intuitive until much later.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Kind of this helpful, read this first or helpful context. I have the same thing for the custom spending wallet,
Mm.
where I say this is basically a variation of the savings wallet, and basically saying it builds on that. And I keep also on that page I keep making references to the upgradable wallet and savings wallet again. So maybe it's actually a good thing to have this kind of disclaimer at the top to say, okay, this is kind of a more advanced topic,
Mhm.
and read that first. I have to rephrase that sentence.
There must
Probably.
be a term for that, like reader's notes, or I don't know. There must be some term in literature for these kind of notes that provide important context.
Yeah, it's the context. Yeah.
Mm.
Know this
Mhm.
prior contextually before reading this, otherwise you won't understand anything. Yeah.
Anything
Pre-
at all.
prerequisite reading.
Yeah.
Warm up reading.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll think of something. Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. Maybe we can just quickly scan over the rest. So we
Yeah.
kind of figured out how our keys are organized. Then we go into then there's a thing about progressive security, um, guiding people towards backup but allowing for customization. And then, like you said just now, having the heavy load out of the way, the other flows are a bit simpler, and most of them
Mhm.
Mhm.
are variations where it says, well, we have a whole page about sending Bitcoin in the daily spending wallet, and most of that pretty much applies. But here are a couple areas where you need to treat it differently. So if you want to
Yeah.
understand the whole thing, first read this other thing, and then consider these changes. And that's for balance and activity and all of this. Now I gave it away. Future reading sessions will not be
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Christoph, do you want to do another session on this, another hour session? I mean, I would be up for that. I mean, it's. I know we went through the tricky
Yeah.
bit now in the beginning. What would be most useful for you? Would you like us to just go through it on our own, the rest of the content, or would you like to have another session? I mean, what would you
I
like?
think it'd be cool if you're up for it.
I'd be up for it. I mean, I feel like then you really properly go through everything because
Mhm.
I feel we did quite a good job of like a thorough job of the first half, and it feels like we don't do the second half due diligence if we just like I don't know, leave
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It also helps to really you read and go through it very, very differently than if you just read it alone, and so you also understand the topic better.
yeah.
Hey Uti,
Right.
you're coming in here right at the end where we're just about to wrap up. But good thing is we only got through half the page, and we just talked about scheduling another session to read through the second half of the page. So
And we recorded.
and we recorded it. we're recording right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, and thanks for being open to another session here. I'm gonna upload this right away. And for once the page goes live, maybe some people want to prefer to watch the conversation about it, and also see that we people who spend with this full time and wrap our heads around it for months and months, we also have a hard time understanding some of these more complex design decisions and technical things.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm open to another session, even between. We're on Thursday now. If you want to do one tomorrow, I'm fine with that, or early next week. So just yeah.
Okay, we'll figure it out in Discord and share it there.
That's good.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I'll see you online then, and thanks again for joining. Stop the recording.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
Really
good.
nice.
Yeah. It was really nice. I want to do one of these sessions. I want one of mine. They're so nice. They're nice.
Yeah, I have a good topic as well, so I think that's also I'll do the same for my PR.
Let's do it.
Really liked it.